Hi everyone! Welcome to Shrek in the Swamp Studio, where we pretty much make our own reviews on some of our own movies and TV shows. Cause see, there's been a lot of time passing since our last entry in our own franchise, Shrek Forever After. And we've just been sticking together as a family. Me, Donkey, Fiona, Fergus, Fargo, Felicia, dragon, and the rest of the fairy tale creatures. And we've just been looking back and reflecting on our career and our relationship and our timeline and everything we have been through. So what we are going to do is that I'm going to be Sterling asked me to consolidate to compensate for this and to do him a favor. He asked me to give me my own reviews of my own movies. So today we will be giving you Shrek from 2001, a part of the DreamWorks animation playlist that plays on Tuesdays. So if you are new to the swamp, welcome. Don't forget to subscribe and like and share and leave a comment on the section below. And if you don't, the last thing you will hear before you decease will be "Aye!" Let's begin. Now I know a lot of times we have heard the saying, once upon a time, in a faraway land, there was a prince and a princess. What if I told you that once upon a time, in a far, far away swamp, there lived an ogre named Shrek, voiced by Michael Myers, whose precious solitude was suddenly shattered by an invasion of annoying fairy tale characters. They were all suddenly banished from their kingdom by the evil Lord Farquaad. And don't even ask me what Farquaad stands for. If you have any questions, you look that up on your own time. He's voiced by John Lithgow. Determined to save their home, not to mention his, Shrek cuts deal with Farquaad and sets out to rescue Princess Fiona to be Farquaad's bride with the help of his trusty Donkey! Rescuing the princess may be small compared to her deep and dark secret. Okay, ever since the dawn of Disney's dominance over the decades that started in the 1930s, there was no other animated film that has served as a standout golden achievement that left an ogre-sized mark, quite like Shrek. Shrek is the film that has compelled the Oscars to recognize the best of animation each year ever since. So, Shrek must be given the credit where credit is due. Shrek is the reason for why most of those other animated films that you love so much, Pixar, some of those few Pixar films have won Oscars. They wouldn't have been nominated in those categories, and that category wouldn't have even existed if it wasn't for Shrek being made. And if you look at this film from every angle, it makes it easy to comprehend why it's well-deserved accolades. First and foremost, there was such a complex load of originality and satire and meta-humor, and a central message that makes the movie so priceless as not only DreamWorks' best franchise, but the one of the all-time greats of animation. To begin, you will hear me say this all the time. You've heard Sterling say this all the time. But he absolutely loves the voice acting by DreamWorks. And I think Shrek is such a testament to why he seriously, absolutely marvels at the voice talent in the DreamWorks animated pictures. He loves Pixar. But the voice acting is not his top favorite thing about those films. It's more so the thematic messaging in those movies and how well it pulls the emotional heartstrings. Now that's not to say that a few DreamWorks movies can't do that. It's not that my movie hasn't pulled any heartstrings. I'm sure it has. I mean, when me and Fiona split, when I told her that who could murder the hideous, ugly beast, it was sad to hear that we thought she was talking about her. We was talking about me. But when it comes to voice acting, DreamWorks has been eating that cake since day one. Mike Myers and Eddie Murphy undoubtedly slay their voice acting performance roles. Basically, to Gen Zers, Shrek and Donkey is like the Buzz Lightyear to us, just as they were to you 90s citizen, 90s natives, the millennials, when Toy Story was released. But the respective voiceovers by both comedians slash SNL alumni is the single greatest takeaway from how to create an unforgettable animated comedy. In addition to the buddy comedy efficiency, the overall ensemble of Princess Fiona, Lord Farquaad, Dragon, and all of the extra fairy tale creatures helps to make enough contribution, largely spoofing the Disney tropes. Not spooning. We don't put spoons in mouths yet. Spoofing the Disney tropes. Making fun of it. Poking fun at it, just as we are paying homage to it. Now, speaking of fairy tales, this film, Shrek, our film, me, Shrek, is also loosely based on the children's book written by William Steig that Sterling vividly remembers from elementary school. Although he didn't read all of it, he at least opened the book, which is something a lot of kids should still be doing nowadays. The point of me touching upon this was the movie's decision to include an assortage of fairy tale characters that were already adapted from Walt Disney. But they were not used as a crutch to propel what is intended to be built from scratch. DreamWorks refraining from the tradition helps them to live up to the tagline, "The greatest fairy tale never told." Of course, it would not reach the Disney caliber without having a moral to its story. The primary lesson in Shrek is prejudice. I say throughout the film over and over how they see a hideous ogre and it's like, go, run. Big, stupid, ugly ogre. A traditional fairy tale would see a troll or an ogre as a grotesque, monstrous, and hideous creature. In Shrek's case, he is a whole lot more than just a vicious ogre. Hence the onions analogy. Do you remember that in the movie? I said onions have layers, just like how ogres have layers, just like how people have layers. Onions have layers? You get it. We all have layers. Furthermore, the prejudice for minor traits that bleeds onto donkey. Princess Fiona and Lord Farquaad are sometimes funny, if not emotional. Like for Princess Fiona, she is worried about the prejudice she might face about her curse of turning into an ogre, because that is not how princesses are meant to be. Donkey, I don't know what type of prejudice Donkey is worried about. I mean, he just talks too much. I think the voice actor really fits the character because they are both fast-talking jerks. Lord Farquaad, of course, I mean, the prejudice is in short supply. For example, how the writers crafted the whole twist with Princess Fiona was pure genius. The reverse psychology of Shrek saving the princess instead of a regular prince is a merit in a sense where it feels organic to the big reveal ahead, and because you would never expect a princess to become an ogre. Just another example of how DreamWorks takes Shrek and they subvert all of the fable conventions while making something completely new out of it. DreamWorks' Shrek currently has an 88% score on Rotten Tomatoes with a 90% score by the people. A hybrid between a fairy tale satire and an original anti-fantasy comedy, Shrek is the living proof for how DreamWorks would eventually measure up to the success of Disney without plagiarizing any of their beloved formula, but to come up with their own formula to create stories that are just as original and just as iconic and just as much of childhood favorites as those Pixar films that were proportional to those releases. So Shrek deserves a 9 out of 10. It was amazing. It was great. It was the cherry on top. I could just squeeze the cherries on toast because it's very good on toast. I would replace cherries for eyes any day. But anyway, that is the review on Shrek from 2001. And you will see me, Shrek, give my reviews. I will help Sterling out, but I will give my reviews on only my movies. You will not see me do Kung Fu Panda because I do not take orders from weed rodents like Shifu or Po, because there can only be one room for a disgusting animal. So I'm talking about donkey, not myself. Disgusting animals. I cannot put a donkey and a panda in the same room together. But you will only see me give my reviews on this, which you just did, Shrek 2, Shrek the Third, and you will see me here forever after, baby. Yeah. But that is my review on Shrek from 2001. Is it your childhood favorite? Tell me the greatest thing that has ever happened in your childhood in the comments down below. I'm looking at it right now. Those numbers on those subscriber numbers are very great, but I really care about what you put in the comments below, as long as it is swamp appropriate.